You know what time it is. We are back in the barn. Tonight I have some little like chocolate biscuits and some peppermint tea, same as last time. I thought about making a different kind, but peppermint was easy again because it's in a tea bag. It's like one of the only teas we have in a tea bag because we got it at the discount store. We don't normally buy teas in tea bags because it's more expensive, and also the taste of the tea bag isn't very nice. It's supposed to be healthier to not have the tea bag and all the stuff in it anyway. Anyway, for lots of reasons we don't really buy tea bags. But if we find them on sale, we will. So this is just plain peppermint tea. And I have some coconut wood buttons and this little outfit that is actually not quite dry. I showed this the other day. You can see the stitches are more even now. Though the light is making it look not as even. Isn't that cute? It's a cute little baby outfit. I've got to put on like 10 or 11 buttons on this. So I need to get it done, so I thought I'd just do it while talking to you guys. I have some of this is the Knitting for Olive yarn in the color cream. It's what I knit the outfit in. And I'm going to use this to sew on the buttons. Actually, I already have a needle threaded with some of that yarn, so I'll just start with that. Sometimes I divide the yarn if I want it to look more dainty. I'm not going to do that this time because I just don't feel like it. I will use this little bit that I have that's divided. You can see the difference in size there. I'll use this little bit first and then just do the other ones. Also, I'm wearing I tried to talk about some of my favorite things while I did this, and I am wearing one of them right now. This is the most me sweater I've ever made, I think.
The color doesn't show
because
as well.
It's very pilly because I bought cheap yarn, but the color is amazing. It's like this dark green. It's not going to show up on camera probably. It's dark green with little flecks of gold and yellow and little bits of teal and different shades of green. It's very pretty. I love it. But I haven't been wearing it as much this winter, partly because it was really pilly, and so I didn't like the look of that, but also I didn't want to wear it out too much. So I'm trying not to depill it very often. I'm trying not to wear it very often, but also I don't want to not wear it because I'm afraid of it wearing out. I'm just trying to tell myself, wear it, enjoy it, and when it's worn out, make a new one to replace it. Not in the same yarn, because that was a mistake. I didn't like how fast it wore out. Like, I only made this last fall, and I did wear it a lot last fall, but still, it should not be wearing out this quickly. Last time I made one of these videos, one of you in the comments, Mariah, was telling me about the project that she was working on, making a crocheted granny square cardigan, I believe she said. Tell me, are you working on something while watching this? I always love hearing what people are making and what yarn they're making it in, what color it is, all that, because it just feels more like we're visiting together, but also because it gives me inspiration for things to make. And if you're on Ravelry, add me as a friend so I can see your projects. I have a Ravelry that I try to update regularly, but I don't. Not with all my projects, at least. But I'm trying to be good at keeping track on there. Also, when I was trying to decide how to sew the buttons on this jumpsuit, these buttons have 4 holes. I was trying to decide, did I make the holes line up with the top of the suit? Like, I'm going to sew this button on and then I'll show you. Well, I don't want to wait to sew the button on. So, I was trying to decide, do I make the buttons follow the button band in direction or facing the top, because this button band curves. And I ended up going with making the buttons follow the button band. I kind of like that look. I think it helps your eye to continue with it without making the buttons look all lopsided. I enjoy sewing on buttons, but I avoid them because they just take so long. I always think that I can get them done quickly, and then it's like an hour and a half to sew on all the buttons. It doesn't help that I make projects that mostly require a lot of buttons. I really like using the same yarn as the project whenever I can. I do that to sew on the tags. I do that to sew on the buttons. I feel like it just gives it a neat look. I could find thread that was the same color, but I don't want to go through all that trouble to find thread that matches every single yarn. Nothing's going to match it more perfectly than the yarn itself. Plus, I like that the... Oops. Plus, a little bit. Plus, I like that the yarn is, in this case, 100% wool. You can't always use the yarn to sew on the buttons, but where I can, I like to. And when you're using fingering weight, most of the time you can do it. The only issue I've really had with trying to sew the buttons on with the same yarn is when I was knitting with this larger wool yarn, and it was just too loosely spun, and it was too thick in the first place, so I had to divide it or it wouldn't have worked. And then once I divided it, it was just way too weak, so I just ended up using regular thread on that. I think it would be neat if more yarn companies made threads that were in the same colorway as their yarns. I think that would be really neat. I mean, having had several businesses and having parents that have had several businesses, I understand that there's lots of ideas. It's just harder to actually execute the ideas, but still, I think it would be neat. I've been saving all of my wool scraps, not just wool, but most of what I knit in is wool. And I keep it at the top so I can use it for small repairs or to sew on buttons. This is a bit of the color I used on the Willems overalls, and I just sewed the buttons on that the other night. You saw that. This is a bit of the alpaca from it's alpaca and silk and merino that I used for my balaclava, which I don't love the look of necessarily, but it's very warm, so kind of getting used to it. And then this is some of the cotton and nylon blend from my cotton socks I'm knitting, which, exciting announcement, I tried those on tonight and they fit perfectly. So I'm very excited about that. The only modification I made to the pattern is I used 2.5 millimeter needles instead of the 2.25 millimeter because that was the only size I had, and also normally socks, like all of the sock patterns I've looked at, were too small. And then my last pair that I tried to knit, it didn't make it to a full pair. The last sock that I knitted ended up being too big because I overcompensated for that and knit at a much larger gauge. That was one of many problems. That's why it didn't become a pair. So I've been testing out this sock pattern to see if it would work. And tonight I decided I wanted to try it on before knitting anymore because I really didn't want to knit almost the entire sock or the entire sock only to realize it didn't fit. So I tried it on. The only part that was tight was just the very edge, the cast on edge. It was a little bit tight, but I think I want it to be tight because it's cotton, and cotton stretches a lot. I don't want it super tight, obviously, but I think it'll help it stay up. And I kind of wish that I had some nylon cord to help keep it up, because, let me see, I'm trying to figure out where this button's going. I kind of wish that I had some nylon cord, or not nylon, elastic cord. I've seen people hold that double with their knitting to help it be more stretchy, and or to stretch back into shape when it's taken off, will go back into its shape. Anyway, I kind of wish I had some of that because I did notice it looked a little bit stretched out at the top, even though it went on easily. It's just the cotton doesn't exactly hold the shape well. It goes back to the same shape it was whenever it's been washed, but it stretches very easily and then kind of gets loose as you wear it. I think that's why this sock blend had some nylon in it, for both that and the durability. So I kind of would like if it had that elastic in, but I think it'll be fine. If I need to, I can also go in with a single crochet. I've seen people like do a chain single crochet edge on the inside of a sock or on the edge of a neckline to help it stay in place, and I could do that as well if it became a problem. But they fit. The only thing is I thought I had like 1 more inch of knitting to do before doing the toe. I think I actually have like 2, but all things considered, I don't think that's too bad. And I'm very excited to have found a sock pattern that seems to work for me. Also, I really like how the short row heel fits. I tried a heel flap and gusset with the other sock I was trying out, and I didn't really love how that one fit or how it looked. But I really like the short row heel, and I don't mind doing short rows. So I will try out some other sock knitting heel patterns, but I might have already found the one that I like the best. Or at least I like it well enough to do it several times. So once this pair is done, I will write down what changes I might make. I might use the 2.5 millimeter recommendation, but I might not, because that would require me ordering some needles. And I already bought some needles a couple months ago, several pairs. I don't really feel like doing that again right now. So we'll see. But I will knit the other, I'll finish this sock, knit the other one, and then I have that Baby Yak blend yarn that I'll make me another pair of socks with. But with the green yarn I have some green cotton socks yarn, and I don't know what pattern I want to do with that one because I don't want it to be overly basic. I don't want to do another ribbing sock because I'll have 2 pairs by that point, and I want it to be something interesting. Green is my favorite color, so I think I'm a little bit more picky about, you'd think you'd be less picky with your favorite color about how it looks and stuff, but in my own experience and from talking to other people, I think we're actually more picky with our favorite color, like how it looks and everything. I don't know. I'm particular about the shades of green I like. This is a green that I love. I don't like yellowy greens as a rule. This one has bits of gold in it, but usually I don't like very yellowy green. Though they are starting to grow on me. This year I've been liking a lot of like the mossy colors, which I guess do have some yellow in them. But I don't like the neon-y greens as much. I'm actually realizing I might just be totally confused because this outfit that I'm wearing, there's gold in this yarn, that you can't see it. And then I'm wearing this sweater, and then I am wearing this tunic top over it. I'll just have to see if I can get you a separate video. But I'm wearing green on green on green today, and that's making me very happy. I think I just did it for the fun of it, for the fun of wearing my favorite color. But I think this actually might become one of my new favorite outfits because it's very comfy, and it also, look for a button, it also is just so enjoyable to wear. I keep forgetting, I like to weave in my end before, kind of like with embroidery, you're not supposed to make knots. I try to do that with my knitting as well, just like weaving a long end but instead of tying a knot. And it seems to work pretty well. if I can remember it. I'm just marking where my button is going to be sewn on so I can go back here and weave in an end before starting it. I was chatting with some of you guys in the comments, and I was talking to Debbie, and we were talking about different chores that we enjoyed, and different housekeeping things. And it made me wonder, I was just thinking about chores in general. I have gotten to the point now where I don't really strongly dislike any chore that I can think of. Obviously, none of us like the chores when they get really bad and caught behind. That's not enjoyable, but in general, I don't mind any chore that I can think of. But one of my very favorite chores, one that I actually enjoy doing, is anything to do with organizing. I love it. It is just, I love the problem solving and the finished result. It's so much nicer to work in a space that's well organized. I was doing a bit of that today. I did some organizing. I've cleared off this shelf in our pantry area to be used for our appliances. So I spent the day going back and forth between doing laundry, which is another chore I don't mind at all. I kind of enjoy it, and organizing that shelf. I've been having my brothers make wooden shelves to replace the wire racks on these shelves, and then I've been covering them with oilcloth and organizing on the shelves, and that's been really fun because then it's pretty. It makes it a lot easier to organize because it's a bit more, it suits the purpose a bit better. And so I'm making a set area for all of our appliances. Mom and I have been working together to make tags. We've been printing off the labels and then laminating them and then attaching sticky magnet sheets that she found on Amazon, and then those magnetized to the wooden shelves. And I think that'll work really well because it's something that can be moved around but won't come off super easily. The magnets aren't super strong, but they're strong enough to keep it on the shelf. And we've got about half the labels, I think, that we need printed. We made them for our pantry shelves, for our shelves of beans and broth, and with how much our pantry gets switched around and reorganized as we're canning big batches of things, I think it is a pretty good solution. Maybe not the best, but it works and it's pretty functional. So I'm excited to have all of that organized. And I'm trying to get it all organized because here soon we're going to be canning lots of soups. I'll try to share some of that in video. It's really nice to have canned soups, especially in the winter time. This makes really easy meals. You know, these aren't going too slowly. Now I'm talking while doing them. I've got 3 of, I think, 11 buttons sewn on. I like to button them up as I go to make sure I'm getting them right. And I'll start at the bottom, and then I generally at some point switch to the top and then keep going to the center because I'm most worried about the bottom and the top matching up well. I don't want to have a lot of excess fabric, and I'm getting better at spacing my buttonholes out appropriately, but sometimes I've still been off by a little bit, so the spacing isn't 100% accurate. What is your favorite chore around the house? I just love homemaking in general. It's just so many aspects of it I love so much, and it's very fulfilling. Hello. My tea's finally at drinkable temperature. I'm supposed to leave this in and I forgot. I think I'm going to end this video here before it gets too long, but let's talk in the comments because I love doing that. I get so many great ideas from you guys, and it's just nice to feel like I know you guys a bit better. So leave a few random facts in the comments, things you've been doing, what you've been enjoying lately. I've been enjoying watching a few new channels. One of them is the Red Cottage, not the Little Red Cottage. The Red Cottage. Brooke, she watches my channel and comments on it, and I was watching several of her videos, and they're very inspiring, and just her home's so cozy and sweet. And I saw that she had some patchwork curtains very similar to the ones that Wisdom and I have been planning on making, but have not yet made. We need to get those done soon. Anyway, that's all. I'll do a little clip at the end of this so you guys can see what the outfit looks done. And then I will see you in the next video. Bye.
What?
Hello, friends. You know what time it is. We are back in the barn.